Hey, friends, I have something important I want to share with you. It should only take a couple minutes of your time. Many of you know me from doing business together, helping you with your real estate investing, or, we're just friends in some way. You know from my background that I've owned many businesses and invested in real estate for more than 40 years now. But today, I want to tell you about something I started doing during COVID. With everything shut down and all the travel restrictions that made it challenging for everybody to meet in person, we all had to be creative on how to do business, and most people turned to the internet. So during that time, I met this gentleman that was great at day trading. He shared with me his expertise, and that the youngest billionaire ever became rich from day trading. So I found this very intriguing. While I hadn't invested in the stock market, for many years, it mostly consisted of buy low, sell high, of course, take the profit, or maybe buy it hold long-term for retirement, sell it later for a nice profit and reinvest it, right? So to me, when I look at the stock market, it was like watching grass grow, a little too slow. So when he invited me to watch a trade, I saw him make large amounts of profit in a matter of seconds using a strategy called scalping. Stock goes down, right? You buy it, the stock goes up quickly, you sell it, you make a profit. Well, sometimes that trade may last a few minutes or a few seconds. So at the end of the day, it didn't go up much, right? So at the beginning of the day, where was I yesterday? The time it closes at the end of the day, doesn't look like I moved much. But in between where all the movement's at, you can buy and sell it and make a small fortune. So something I didn't know about. So I gave it a shot. I signed up for his program. He didn't have much time to work with me one-on-one, but he gave me a manual to read and some instructions on how to get started. So I set up the account on this trading platform. You only need about $500 to set up the account. Typically, if you're investing, doing day trading, you're going to need at least $25,000, $35,000 in an account. They'd have to be approved to trade. But this one in particular focuses on smaller amounts. So it's only $500. Then you have to pay for a live feed to get the stock market live feed. So I finally started trading in what's called simulation mode. It's like playing Monopoly, only it's not real money. You just get to play like it is. So first day of simulation mode, I made about $20,000. I was on there for a couple hours playing around. Second day, I made over $100,000. Third day, I made over $100,000. Fourth day, I made $1.2 million. Now again, it's simulation mode. It's not real money. But I'm thinking, this is way too easy. If this was this simple, then why isn't everybody rich from trading on the stock market? So I called this guy, and I told him what I was doing. And I said, am I doing something wrong? And he didn't even believe that I'd done that well. I'm not trading before, day trading, even in practice mode. So at this point, he suggested I practice for another week, and then we get together one-on-one, and he showed me how to get started using real money. So the next week, I moved $15,000 from my Schwab account and started live trading with real money. I was confident, and I wanted to see results. So the first day, I made $5,000 with real money. I felt pretty good about that from just even playing around with it for just a couple of hours, right? So the next day, I made $6,000. The third day, I made $9,000. Each day was just a couple hours. That's over $20,000 in less than 6 hours of my time. So my heart's pounding, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, why didn't I learn about this years ago? Why did I spend so much time in real estate dealing with contractors, tenants, and employees, and banks, and working my butt off? I started thinking about all the things I could do with the money and how much I could help others. So the next day, my goal is set to make at least $10,000. So I started trading, and all of a sudden, everything stopped. So I'm like, what's going on? I started to panic. So I called the support line, and they told me my trade was closed. I said, no, I didn't close my trade. That's the problem. So the guy said, no, we closed the trade. And I said, what are you talking about? Why would you do that? He said, well, your drawdown was too high. We don't take losses for you. So you don't have enough money or what you call a margin in your account to cover it. He said, where did you put your stops? And I said, what do you mean stops? So his tone from that point sounded like he didn't believe me. So I finally realized, I just lost $12,000 in one trade. Talk about being sick. I felt like I had taken a double dose of pre-workout drink, right? All the needles all over my body. So I'm not the type of person to quit. So I thought, you know what? I'll just make it back. So I jumped in another trade. I lost another $5,000. Now I'm angry, right? So I ended another trade quickly. I lost another $3,000. Within 30 minutes, I lost over $20,000. Everything I just made the 3 days before that. So now I'm beside myself. I knew it worked, but I was doing something wrong. So I took a step back and I started learning more, watched some more videos, wanted to lose some more money in trades. Then I spoke to one of my other business clients. He was an IT guy and he was an experienced day trader. So he actually has training programs and books available on his website on how to day trade. He recently created a day trading software that trades for you. So that got my interest. So he showed me how it worked. I tested it out. This time I didn't rush in blindly, right? I took my time to understand it. And what I found was a game changer. Instead of guessing where to enter trades, when to exit, and losing money, this software uses advanced algorithms, artificial intelligence, trading algorithms, trading indicators. It automates the whole process. So once everything was set up on my computer, all I had to do was turn it on and it did trades for me, right? So on the trading platform, you can test out the software and the trading programs and see how they perform historically. For example, I just tested out this one from January 1st through February 28th, 2025, and it made a net over $68,000. Now, I could tell you, I've made a profit from using this software, but due to the FTC rules, I can't share with you how much I made. You probably wouldn't believe me yet anyways until you see it in action. So you have to realize there's risk involved. Anytime you do any type of trading, any type of business, you should only trade with money that if you lose it, it's not going to be a hardship because you could lose it all. Of course, that's a disclosure. But if you're like me, you're looking to make some extra money, get a better return on your investments, or you just don't have the time to day trade, this is a tool you need to see. That's why my friend Igor created this software. He and I scheduled a free event to show you exactly how it works. So if you want to see this in action, fill out the form below, register for the event. Believe me, I've literally seen thousands of businesses and opportunities in my lifetime, and this is probably the easiest, most profitable one that I've come across that actually works. But don't take my word for it. See it for yourself. Fill out the form below, and we'll see you at the demo. Thanks for your time.